if you're running a DeFi application on EOS and you'd like to opt in to Recover Plus, then there's going to be a process. So you need to apply for it. There's going to be a committee that's going to be reviewing. You're going to need to go through steps in order to qualify for that. What that does, though, and this whole process is transparent. There's a website. It's already there. I believe it's eosrecover.com. And that is the secondary layer to this, is the fact that people would opt in to this program. So that should an event occur, Recover Plus doesn't prevent any type of hack from happening, but it does all of the work beforehand, and it has the foundations laid beforehand, so that should something happen, the network and those running the Recover Plus program already have all of the information ready to potentially stop a hack while it's in progress. So we saw that on 2 occasions on EOS where hacks occurred and the applications were not ready. They didn't have the information in line, but that the block producers indicated that they were willing to help and willing to stop. And in both instances, they were able to prevent loss of funds. The idea from Recover Plus is to really open that up to everybody and anybody who wishes to participate in this program, so that if something happens, then it doesn't mean that it would be safe, but it increases the likelihood that something could be done. There was another hack that happened back in December, and that was the DAD E-Curve pizza. Basically, it was leveraging a few platforms. And part of the problem with trying to stop the hack in progress was that the metrics that were needed in order to actually do something about it, all of those were shut down when the project realized that it was being hacked. And so it closed down all of its smart contracts, and all of the information that then the chain needed or the block producers needed in order to make a determination wasn't accessible. And the hackers obviously are getting more and more sophisticated. And so the hacker in that instance created a cascading script that created 1.5 million accounts on EOS within a very short period of time. And to put that in perspective, there were only 3 million accounts on EOS at that time. And so the hacker literally created about 50% of all EOS accounts in existence within the matter of 24 hours or something like that. In order to be able to prevent that, or in order to be able to do something about it, a lot of technical components were required. A lot of the information that can already be gathered prior to a hack occurring could have been put and filed and essentially been on record. We also don't know whether or not in those instances, the project itself is part of it. Is this an internal hack? Is this a rug pull? Having a lot of that information prior to makes it much easier to ascertain, or for the block producers to be able to ascertain whether or not they should utilize the features that are embedded in EOS in order to be able to prevent something like this from happening. In the instances of the Vault hack and in the instance of E-Curve, DAD/Pizza, those were all known players. The determination as to whether or not this was a scam, rug pull, or whether or not it was a hack, aligned with all of the information was being present, the smart contracts were open, they were audited, et cetera, in one of the instances. And so if there's a project that wishes to potentially benefit from that program, they should be applying. Really cleared out a lot of that information, but that may not be the case in the future, which is why Recover Plus was created, so that any other application in the future who would want to benefit from that potential saving would increase its likelihood of it happening, because it could start gathering that information prior to, start giving the network the assurances that it needs and the block producers the assurance that it needs to make that determination, just more information accessible so that the block producers are in a better position to make those calls. So it is very much opt-in. It does not remove the requirements on the applications to be vigilant, to go through auditing processes, to open source their code, to null potentially their keys. There are a lot of things that people can do to mitigate those risks. And that's also what Recover Plus is going to be helping with, is to help guide those applications on best practices of what they can do to mitigate and to minimize the chances of that happening. But in the unfortunate event that happens, because it will happen again, it's just a question of time. In the unfortunate event that that happens, then to have a framework and a system in place to potentially be able to stop that is what Recover Plus aims to do.